In the early 1990s, the East African country of Somalia was rocked by civil war and subsequent famine. The U.S. sent troops there not to conquer land or steal resources, but purely to save lives. And we did that. We saved about 100,000 Somalis. That, by the way, was 1993, not 1992. I misremembered it. Seems like just yesterday. But Somali-American Congresswoman Ilhan Omar is not grateful for what the U.S. did on behalf of the country she was born in. No, she thinks American troops were the bad guys in that conflict. A couple of years ago, she responded on Twitter to a user who was remembering the 19 American troops killed during the Battle of Mogadishu. She wrote this, quote, "In his selective memory, he forgets to also mention the thousands of Somalis killed by American forces that day!" Exclamation point. Hashtag not today, Satan. Sergeant Major Kyle Lamb fought that day in the Battle of Mogadishu. He's the author of the book Leadership in the Shadows, and we're happy to have him tonight. Thanks very much for coming on tonight.
Thanks
Sergeant
for having
Major
me.
Lamb. When you read Ilhan Omar's remarks about the battle that you fought in, what's your response?
Well, normally it's humorous, but at this point it's kind of disturbing because, I mean, first of all, she wasn't there. She'd already left the country. We were there, and I've never heard numbers quite that inflated. I mean, we wished we could have done that much damage, but that didn't happen as far as I know.
Well, I guess what's so striking is, and the U.S. has done things I disagree with around the world, but in this case, it seemed like the mission was purely altruistic. We were only there to help. We didn't take Somalia. I mean, did you steal gold or natural resources when you were there?
No, we didn't do that. We were trying to take out Adid because he was a clan leader that had, the Habagetter clan had kind of taken over the town. They were taking the food, any of the aid that we were giving to Somalia, also weapons, and they're running drugs. Khat is a big drug over there. And he needed to be eliminated so that we could get peace back in that town. So we were actually there to help some of the lesser tribes or the lesser clans, such as her clan, which, you know, obviously they were already gone. But, yeah, we were there to try to do the right thing. And you know, the other thing is we didn't say, hey, let's pick out Somalia as a great place to go hang out.
Yeah,
the president at the time, President Clinton, said this is where we're going, this is what the mission is, and our commander said, roger that, we can do it, and we all had signed on the line. That's why we serve, and you can make a difference when you go to those countries.
Does it strike you as odd that, and I don't want to pick on Ilhan Omar, but she's a member of Congress, and so her statements get a lot of attention. Here's someone who was brought to the United States at public expense simply because we're a kind country that accepts a lot of refugees. And rather than being grateful for that, she spent the rest of her life attacking this country. Why?
Well, as they would say down here in Tennessee, bless her heart. I mean, we want her to understand that she's living large now because of her family being able to escape the atrocities of Mogadishu. And yeah, it's very disturbing. We watched our friends get drugged through the streets by the people that she says are her people, and we got to watch that on TV once we'd exfilled from the crash site that I was at, and we got back to our hangar. That's what we got to watch. So, yeah, we take it personal when you attack us like that. Once again, it's not surprising to hear that. There's been kind of a long list of things she said that I don't know if she meant them or not, but she continues to say them. So, yeah, I feel bad for her.
Yeah, I do too. What about the families of the Americans who were killed there? I mean, what do you think they think of this?
I haven't talked to any of the families, but that doesn't take her saying something to remind them of what they deal with every day.
Right.
Whenever they go to a baseball game and they hear the national anthem and they look at the flag, that dad's not there with his kids.
Yeah.
That's a story that not just from Somalia, but all the other conflicts that I've been in and that I haven't been in, that's the story of the soldiers. So that's what we deal with on a daily basis. And really, you know, we just want people to help us out when we get back, which is we need a mission. We need, you know, guys to get help if they have drug or alcohol issues, which sometimes can be prevalent in the military if guys are suffering with injuries that they try to continue to fight with. So we try to get them the help that we can. That's what we want to do. And yeah, it's the soldier story from the last 10,000 years.
Kind of the last thing you need is a lecture from people like her. Sergeant Major, thank you very much.
Get to a town hall in a little bit, so.
Representative Omar, what's the reaction from your district, in
represent a number of synagogues, too.
The reaction in my district has been an overwhelming outcry and condemnation of the particular action that's been taken by the Netanyahu administration and the urging of our president. I mean, people really are appalled in many ways. People feel like when you are a United States citizen, forget the fact that we are members of Congress. When you are the United States citizen, that your president, your ambassadors, your State Department works on your behalf. They defend you and fight for your right to freedom of speech, to freedom of movement, and to have an administration and a president and an ambassador that is not doing that puts fear in many people's hearts. They can't trust if they found themselves abroad or were thinking, someone was refusing them a visa, that their country would fight for them. Rashida earlier talked about Congressman Diggs, who was denied a visa to enter a then apartheid South Africa. The United States government, our ambassador, our State Department, our president fought to make sure that he got that visa, and he did go. And so for us, this isn't, right? Everything is beyond us, and there are a lot of people who currently feel like what is taking place is going to have a larger impact on them.
Specifically, what about the synagogues, though, and the Jewish population? What have you heard?
You've heard from Jewish members of my constituency. We had a really wonderful meeting before I took my trip to get an insight of what kind of questions they wanted me to ask, what they were interested in me learning, and how they wanted a check back in to happen after I'd returned. And we've heard from, almost every single Jewish organization here in my district who've issued statements. Many of the Jewish leaders in my district and in Rashida's as well have been raising their voices. Many of our Jewish colleagues in Congress have reached out and have issued a statement in condemnation. This is not This is not an issue where there are some people who agree with this action that's being taken. Everyone understands, as duly elected members of Congress who do appropriation, who are taking a vote in regards to what our foreign policy looks like in that region, that we should have access to see it for ourselves. And many of my colleagues and constituents from the first day I got elected have been urging me to go see things for myself, to reserve judgment until I did. And this is what we were embarking on, and we don't get to have that opportunity at the moment.
There's been a lot of conversation about the group that you guys were going over there with. Can you two both address the idea there was some people who were upset about the group that you decided to travel over there with?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We had
our colleagues that are senior members, some of them have served multiple terms, actually told us about the organization, and because we asked, we're not the ones who chose the organization, a U.S. foundation, a U.S.-based sponsor organization chose it. But I was told by a number, I think there was 5 members of Congress that actually
just in
went
2016
on a trip that was sponsored by the same organization. So we're also taken aback and learned from everybody else that there were some issues regarding it. But again, I think especially Ilhan Omar and I are extremely careful in vetting, because there is a close eye in policing of our actions that is so much more weighted on us than any other members. And so we're very careful. But when, members from the Congressional Progressive Caucus that both she and I are extremely active in have gone to a similar trip, almost similar agenda, we're as taken aback as you are that people are now questioning that. Yeah. I think these are just distractions into the fact that this had nothing to do really with the agenda or these other issues, because members of Congress have many of these organizations, including Breaking the Silence, Amnesty International, a number of these organizations, ANIRA, these are all incredibly great international organizations, both run by Israelis and Palestinians together. that were both meeting with us. I think the focus is there's hiding of the truth and hiding that the occupation is happening, and they knew us setting foot there would basically bring attention to something that many of us feel is very much against international human rights.
Representative Tlaib, you signed a letter agreeing to abide by Israeli restrictions if they allowed you to see your grandmother. After they approved that request, why did you change your position?
I spoke to my family, and I think my grandmother said it beautifully when she said, I'm her asfur. Asfur in Arabic means her bird. And she said, I'm her dream manifested. I am her free bird. So why would I come back and be caged and bow down when my election rose her head up high, gave her dignity for the first time? And so through tears at 3 o'clock in the morning, we all decided as a family that I could not go until I was a free American United States Congresswoman coming there not only to